Brothers and sisters, Brother John, watchman for that great day. I thought I'd come to you today and give you a little thought and a little encouragement and a little like an expose of and pointing to a particular person who I believe at this very moment is sitting in the all-important catbird seat, which is front and center in all of the commotion going on in the Middle East. He ties in very nicely, and it's just another. This video is in no way to point out the exact antichrist, because none of us that believe in the rapture are going to ever see who this antichrist is, because we're removed before that wicked can be revealed. So we will know after the time of the rapture, but until then we have all of our the ones who we think, the list of people that would fit the description. All right, so this is what I wanted to bring to you in an effort to give us a little bit of thought and a little time of encouragement in a time of in these days, which is kind of harsh, right? It's a harsh time, but we need to be ready. And I believe that there is going to be a ceasefire. That's what they're saying anyway. A good video put out by Brother Stephen Fletcher, the recent one about the 24-hour period where they're asking for a ceasefire over in Israel. But this video is about pointing to a particular person, and that is Emmanuel Macron. And I intend to bring some of the past, the history, the historical way, as well as the things that intermingle with the Pope and how it lines up with the Pope. All right, and there are many people that have visited the Pope. We've had Trump and Jared Kushner and many people. The president of Turkey, Erdogan, is calling for the Pope to rule Jerusalem, among other things, and setting sanctions against Israel. The world is definitely at a point now where they're against, the continuing fighting, and the world is really tiring of all of the battles that are going on. But what the world doesn't realize is that it's a small piece of land called Israel, and Jerusalem is the key factor. All right, Jerusalem, control over Jerusalem. All right, so I watched a video the other day that my brother Gregory Messina had sent me, and it's a pastor by the name of Patrick Winfried, and he made the video back July 30th, 2020, about a dream that he had where he says that God showed him Emmanuel Macron was the Antichrist. We all can have differing opinions and views and thoughts, but since he had the dream, I wanted to look into it a little more. And, this is in no way pointing out that he is the man, but I'm just going to give you a set of, how do I say, descriptions of things that have happened in his life, as well as where he came from. He came from a place of being groomed by a man by the name of Jacques Attali. All right, and this man was has a very high position in the Masons, almost like the Godfather. Okay, in the Masons, he's in a very high position, and he's more or less groomed and bought in Emmanuel Macron. And it is well known that Emmanuel Macron is a Mason. Okay, and he was bought in and bought into the the Bilderberg meeting. Okay, the meetings. This is who brought him in to the Bilderbergers, and basically came through the Rothschild in the financial area, Rothschild banker. Okay, so a lot of things all connect into Emmanuel Macron, and so I just wanted to show you in a little bit of review of most of the information I'm going to be giving you comes out of the Now the End Begins. I just went back and looked at all the times where the Pope was mentioned and what was happening with the Pope, and then all of a sudden Macron keeps kind of like entering in. So I just wanted to bring you a little bit of a timeline to kind of show you that the idea of him being, all right, this man that will come it's pretty interesting, all right? So whether he is or not, whether the the timing of alien, the disclosure that's coming from the Pentagon in June, and perhaps when that happens, they add, something to the present technology that doesn't allow it to fail. There's a lot of things going on, brothers and sisters. So without further ado, and I'll post this Pastor Patrick Winfrey's video in this particular video in the About box, so you can check him out. But after I got done watching that and looking at the way things are going, I started to do some research and seen quite a bit. So I know there are people that really do believe that Emmanuel Macron, that's like their first #1 pick, for the Antichrist, right? And like I say, this is not about, we're not looking for the Antichrist. It's just, this is interesting notes and facts towards someone that could be or make a way in for someone else, because that's why there are so many. We're always looking at different ones who it could be. All right, some people say it was Trump, some people say it was Jared Kushner, some people say it was Assad, some people say that it's going to be Erdogan, okay, because he wants to be the head of the new Ottoman Empire, so to speak. It's no secret that that's what he wants. And he was calling out to the Pope the other day to set sanctions against Israel and to rule Jerusalem. So there's a lot going on with all this thought, okay? But what I wanted to bring to you is just some times and dates, all right? And so Emmanuel Macron has been serving as president since the 14th of May, interesting time, 14th of May 2017. November the 8th, 2018, Emmanuel Macron unveils the European Defense Coalition, the Coalition of the Willing. If you remember that, it was a 10 countries that signed on to make a real European army. And the 10 of them were Finland. Finland's joined Germany and Belgium, Britain, Denmark, Estonia, the Netherlands, Spain, Portugal, and in the French-led initiative, which will see members collaborate on planning and on analysis of new military and humanitarian crises and eventually military responses to those crises. So it's a projected military, a European military, that has a number of 10. So it goes along with the beast having 7 heads and 10 horns. And each of these horns being the 10, you've got one of them being Britain, and you've got, the Portugal and Spain and Germany, Denmark, Estonia, all these, Belgium, Netherlands. So it all, they could tie into that, the 10 kings, which have no power as of yet, but will in 1 hour have power with this beast, all right? So anyway, so I'm going to give you some times and dates, and we're going to go from somewhere. We already went from where Macron came into the presidency in 2017. There's a lot of background on Macron. I didn't go into it too deeply. We do know that he married he fell in love with his school teacher way back when, and there's like a 25-year difference or something of that sort, 23 or 4-year difference. At any rate, August of 27, 2019. So Pope Francis issues the order creating Global Chrislam Committee to implement his decree on what he calls the Human Fraternity for World Peace, signed in UAE back in February, of course, of 2019. And this was written, all this is information I'm taking from the Now the End Begins, which is a brother by the name of Jeffrey Girder. September 22nd, 2019. The Catholic Muslim Interfaith Council, created by Pope Francis, announces new Chrislam headquarters opening in 2022. That combines a mosque, a church, and a church according to a signed covenant. The United Arab Emirates is building a Chrislam interfaith compound that combines a mosque and church and is set to open in 2022. It's just interesting that things are, if we ever make it to 2022, which I don't believe we're going to be here too much longer, but 2022, it's interesting. And there's also Germany is also putting up another one of these interfaith temples, if you will. Also, Emmanuel Macron had said back in April of 2019, when the Notre Dame fire happened, that he wanted to rebuild that within 5 years, and he wanted to dedicate it to the New World Order. So there's a lot going on with all this information, let me tell you. So it all ties in. One piece of information ties into another. And so we have a bit of a timeline going on here, back from 2017, 2018, 2019. I'm giving you, it's going to come right up to 2021, right up to present time. So October 3rd, 2019, Pope Francis sends a signed copy of Abu Dhabi's statement that it is God's will to create a one world unified religion. October 6th, 2019, Pope Francis appoints 13 new Chrislam-friendly cardinals who will help guide the Roman Catholic Church into adding both the LGBTQRSTUVW and Islam. January 18th, 2020, United States commits to fully supporting the Chrislam Abrahamic Faiths Initiative. Interesting, Abrahamic Faiths Initiative. As VP Mike Pence prepares for a private meeting with the Pope Francis at the Vatican next week. Now remember, this is 2019, this happened already in 2020. Which 6 days later, on the 24th of January 2020, Mike Pence has a secret closed-door meeting concerning the Abrahamic Faith Initiative with the Pope Francis, and receives Angel of Peace medallion and signed World Peace Day 2020 document. Note, this medallion was also given, this Angel of Peace medallion from the Pope was also given to Barack Obama, Mahmoud Abbas, Vladimir Putin, and Tayyip Erdogan. All right, so we know who Erdogan is, we know who Vladimir Putin, and we know who Abbas, and of course we know who Obama is. January 25th, 2020. VP Mike Pence arrived at the Vatican for what was billed as a meet and greet, then stunned everybody by turning into a high-level, closed-door meeting on something so sensitive that neither party was willing to discuss it. And within mere hours of that bombshell, President Trump announced he was finally ready to reveal his deal of the century, Middle East peace plan, and asked Benjamin Netanyahu to fly to Washington this coming Tuesday. Well, of course, that was January 28th, 2020. Remember that, right? It wasn't long ago, brothers and sisters. I mean, we're in January. We're past January 28th, 2021. So it was a little over a year ago. Think of that. Just a little over a year ago, the peace plan was revealed. The whole presidency of Donald Trump passed, and then a year before he would be, either reelected or lose the presidency, he releases the peace plan. I mean, this is all timed out perfectly, and there's no coincidence in what goes on. So, Trump has a relationship with Israel, and Pope Francis has a relationship with the Muslims. So you put the two together, right? You know where this is all headed. August 13th, 2020, announcement of the Chrislam Abrahamic Accord between Israel and the UAE was the missing link needed to launch the Vatican's Abrahamic Faith Initiative. All right, we're going to hear more about that. The Abraham Accord. That's what they call this thing, the Abraham Accords, or the Abrahamic Agreement. And it says the Abraham Accord will connect Israel and Abu Dhabi, where the Chrislam headquarters, known as the Abrahamic Faith's House, is located. So this is all due to the world religion. Okay, brothers and sisters, this is what the new world order will have as its new world religion, and which, without even getting into it, will definitely connect into the 7 Noahide laws. All right, which I won't go into it. I'll leave that alone for now. August the 14th, 2020. But I will say this, that if you are, can't stop. If you are a believer at the time of the Noahide laws being enforced, which will be during the tribulation, after the rapture, during the tribulation, they will start to be enforced. And when they enforce this, it will be worldwide, and it will make it illegal for anybody professing Jesus Christ. And the penalty for confessing Jesus Christ during that time will be beheading. So just to let you know. But we're not going to be here, brothers and sisters. Hallelujah. The good news is we will escape all these things. All right? We will. Just be ready. Could be tonight. Okay? Could be between now and 1:53 a.m. in the morning. Who knows what time and where. Right? All I know is the Lord has his time clock, and if it's not, we're not far from it. Okay? But very interesting time we're living in right now. So August 14th, 2020, just one day after Trump announces Abraham Accord, Emmanuel Macron gives himself a seat at the Middle East table, making a league with Russia. Emmanuel Macron has now officially inserted himself into not only the Middle East on multiple levels, he has also just given himself a seat in the Abraham Accord, announced by President Trump and Jared Kushner yesterday. Of course, this was in 2020. August 20th, 2020. Abraham Accord takes giant step toward completion as United Arab Emirates conceals long-standing economic boycott against Israel. United Arab Emirates scrap an economic boycott against Israel, allowing trade and financial agreements between the countries to happen. Go from August of 2020 and go to November 10th, 2020. Vatican forming new Chrislam global partnership with devout Catholic and passionate pro-abortion and child transgender advocate, none other than our current president, Joe Biden. February 22nd, 2021. Just a note about Chrislam, Rick Warden, who began Chrislam back in 2008, so it's nothing new. It's been going on for quite some time now, 15 years or whatever, which basically is an idea of the falling away, if you want to look at it as the apostasy, people that will go into this three-way religion, say, so to speak, Christianity, Islam, and Judaism, it will be the world religion. It is an apostasy, and also if you do become a Noahide, which I would have to say, just on the outside view, from what I've studied and see, the Masons are basically connected into being Noahides. All right, because I've had, in fact, even my very own father, who I just recently met at the age of 64 and a half, and he is 80. He was 87 at the time. Now he's 88, but he has told me that years ago he was part of the Masons. Now, he didn't get into the higher degrees. He was in the basic levels, like most people are that come into the Masons. So, when you're in the lower portion of it's like a local boys club, right? It's like going down to your hangout where you talk business and all that. So they're unaware of all these higher levels or degrees that takes work. It takes work to get to those levels, and secrecy follows the whole thing as you move along into these levels. But it is known that the 21st degree of the Masons is called the executioner, right? That's the degree that later on you learn when you get to the 31 or 32 degrees that you're actually worshiping Lucifer. So just as the way the rites go and everything else, you're moved through, as they basically see what your interests are, they move you up the ladder and you find yourself, wherever you're best used by this group. So anyway, Rick Warren, who began Chrislam back in 2008 to pass the torch to Pope Francis, who officially codified Chrislam in Abu Dhabi in 2019. That kind of brings you right to a point, right? So it's like 11 years later, codifies it in Abu Dhabi. March the 6th, 2021, here we are in the present day. Pope Francis travels to Ur. It's interesting to note that, how do I say that? And I'll leave that alone. All right. Well, first we know that Ur, Ur of Chaldees, which is where the Pope went. So, Pope travels to Ur of Chaldees to hold Chrislam worship service that left Jesus Christ out of his prayer for peace at pagan ziggurat. Now, we know that Ur is where Abraham came from. That was his home originally, and then God brought him out of there into the promised land, right? He directed Abraham. So this is where we're going back into that idea where Abraham started from, right? So March 24th, 2021, Pope Francis has private 40-minute phone call with none other than Emmanuel Macron. This is March 24th, just recently. I mean, it's a couple months ago, but March 24th, 2021, has a 40-minute call with Emmanuel Macron discussing his recent success in Ur of Chaldees. May the 13th. This is very recent, as fact is today. As IDF ground troops attack in Gaza Strip, French President Emmanuel Macron again steps into facilitate a peace treaty between Hamas and Israel. And I find it interesting that they named this operation Guardians of the Walls. Brothers and sisters, those of us who are really watching and hoping and praying that the Lord will come back, consider ourselves to be watchmen on the wall, right? And so we are, in the sense, the watchmen on the walls, watching as this operation called Guardians of the Walls, right, are operating, doing whatever they're doing. And remember, there's a lot going on behind the scenes that we'll never know till finally one day we meet with the Lord, very shortly, hopefully, maybe tonight. But we'll know eventually all things that are in secret, right? All things that are secret will be revealed in the light, okay? So, So anyway, we know the times that we're living in, and we are, and really biblically defining this time is the fig tree generation. And we know that the nation of Israel has just turned 73. We know that we're close to something. We don't necessarily able to put our finger on that something, but we are close. Very, very close. So basically, with all that I just read you, it's kind of a mix of timing, and it's funny because Emmanuel Macron kind of keeps popping his head out, pops it back down, and then then we hear more about the Pope doing things, and all of a sudden Emmanuel Macron pops his head up again in the news, right? So it's just someone to watch. Doesn't mean that he is absolutely the Antichrist, but it's just interesting how the history of the church fathers, those that wrote back in the Dark Ages and all the way up till now, the famous, pastors and preachers have always believed that, definitely that the Pope would be that Antichrist, all right? But we today look at the Pope more as the false prophet, with the Antichrist being a leader from a nation, all right, that is in power. That would be given even more power as the son of perdition, the spirit, right? The man of sin. The man of sin is just a man, but I always say this: the man of sin is just a man, but at some point, just like Judas, just like the son of perdition entered into Judas, all right, possessing him ultimately. That's what's going to happen ultimately with the Antichrist, with this figure, whoever it is, all right? There's a lot of ways to go when we're talking about the Antichrist, but this is just interesting how he keeps popping up he came from obscurity as well. But he was not obscure at all. He was basically groomed by some of the higher people in the Masons, and brought into the Bilderbergers, and basically groomed to be in the position that person is in. No one gets into a high position in this world today, and probably not for many years past, unless they are able to be used the way the ultimate, money or those in control desire to use them, along with the dark side, the spiritual rights, right? The dark side rights, the dark side, connections, all right? So we, as the children of light, being born again, filled with the Spirit of God, saved by grace, not by works, await for that day that is about to happen, that we can be excited about, looking up. And brothers and sisters, we're just close. That's all I can say at this point. I thought I'd bring you some of that information and some thought. Kind of look into it yourself and see what you find. The day is near. All right. If we're still here tomorrow, brother Todd is going to be with me on a live, and that's right, live StreamYard tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. That's when I'll be. That's Eastern Standard Time. So whatever time difference it is for you, you'll have to tune in then and see. But I think we have some interesting thought, and we'll give you the good news as we always do, and look forward to encouraging you and being a blessing to you once again, tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be blessed. And of course, I can never leave you guys without the sound of the shofar, which perhaps we'll hear tonight. Maybe there won't be a tomorrow. That's what I hope. And I hope our tomorrow starts our forever. How you like that? How you like them words? I hope our tomorrow starts our forever, which it really does. Every day we're living in our forever, but I want the moment of time to be realized that now we're in the forever, walking with Christ in the physical, as well as all of the body of Christ in the physical, right? The physical realm of actually being able to hug one another, be with one another, and this will be for eternity, forever. It's just going to be so glorious, never getting old, never fading, always being brand new every single day. That's the good news. None of us are going to age after this point. We're just, boom, we're new every day. Just like Christ, just like nothing that fades away or gets old or rusts or falls apart or anything. Right? It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. So take your earbuds out if you got them in. I'll give you the blast in the shofar. Pretty good one. All right, brothers and sisters, thank you for coming and watching this video, and keep looking up. The day is near. Check out Brother Stephen's video that he made earlier today. It's a good video. It talks about the 153 at the timing of it, 153 fish, and it's interesting that that's an exact number in the Bible. It's just amazing. Why is it so exact? And it could have been 152, 151, but it was exactly 153, right? It wasn't 10 or 20. And why was that important? That number of fish was counted, right? The number of fish was counted. And it's interesting, 24 hours also relates to Sister Gigi's 210 America, does it not? Because at May the 20th at 1:53 a.m. there was the repost or the posted ceasefire article that Brother Stephen points out, as well as 24 hours later puts you at the 21st of May at 1:53 a.m. in the morning. So who knows if we're out of here at a specific 1:53 a.m. or just the 21st, and by the way, have to say this too, tomorrow happens to be the 3rd month, the 11th day. 3rd month, 11th day, 311. Just amazing, right? Start out with Brother Stephen's video. It's 3:33. 3 minutes and 33 seconds, I guess. Pretty interesting. So, God bless you all. Brother John, watchman for that great day. See you in the air very soon. Keep looking up. Don't be disheartened. Jesus said, well, you're in the world, you have tribulation, but fear not and worry not and rejoice, because he said he, Jesus, overcame the world. Are we not part of his body? Is he not watching over us and protecting us? Yes, he is. All right? He loves us. He's not leaving us or forsaking us. Hebrews 13:5. Trust in him. Look up. Your redemption is near. All of us are going home soon. God bless you. Brother John, watch me for that great day. One more time. Out.